in. Because you stopped talking, Rob. All right, 7. Call the order, this January 12th, 2026, Board of Education, regular scheduled meeting. Can we please have a roll call of the board? Oh, I'm sorry, we're in the ECC in the boardroom. Just put that on record. Brenda, can we please have a roll call of the board?
Stanton?
Here.
Price?
Here.
Hilton?
Here.
Wenger?
Here.
Hess here? Brock?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, everyone. The flag is in the back. Mindful of your caps. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Our first item on the agenda, our third item now, is a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
We got a motion by Mr. Winger, support by Ms. Hess. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? Thank you, board. All right, this is our January meeting to start off, so we have a little bit of an organization that needs to happen regarding our board for the rest of the year. I think this is a special treat for you kids to see, a little bit of a process here. We're moving into now our next item called election of officers. So we'll go around, we'll have nominations amongst the board for the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. We'll have nominations, we'll close nominations, we'll vote if there is 2 candidates that are chosen. Whoever wins gets the position, and then we move on. Okay? So I am opening it up now for nominations for president of the school board.
I nominate Derek Brock.
I nominate Derek Brock.
I nominate Derek Brock. Derek Brock.
Okay, we got a bunch of nominations, thank
Nominates
you.
and then we vote.
Okay, we got all, nomination for, we'll call right now, trustee Brock. Any other nominations? Once, twice? All right, we'll close nominations. But because there's no one else to vote for president, because there's only one nomination, President Brock retains the title of being president. Okay, we'll now open up nominations for vice president. I would like to nominate Tyler Winger.
Second.
Any other nominations for vice president? Going once, twice?
We only need 2.
All right. Close the nominations. Mr. Winger will be the vice president of the board for 2026. We'll now open up the floor for nominations for treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Mark for treasurer.
We have a nomination for Mr. Mark Price as the treasurer. Is there another nomination? Going once, twice. All right, nominations closed. Mr. Mark Price will be our treasurer for 2026. We'll now open up nominations for secretary of the board.
I'll nominate Brenda.
I'll nominate Katie.
We have a nomination for Ms. Hess, and we have a nomination for Ms. Stanton. Any other nominations? All right. Brenda, I think you go through and get the poll.
I think we just do A's and nays for each person, or how do you
No,
want to do it?
I think we have to do a roll call because we have to do, count the votes.
Okay. Do you want them to just say the name then?
Yes, please, as
Okay,
we go.
sorry about that. All right, Brock,
Ms. Hess.
Wenger,
Miss Hess.
Price,
Hess.
Stanton,
Me.
Hilton,
Katie.
Okay, thank you, board. Ms. Hess won the poll there to be our secretary for the board for 2026. Thank you, board. This completes our election of the officers for 2026. Our next item is committee assignments. This responsibility is given to the board president, and that was my title previously. I didn't want to make assumptions to be elected in there. I did not prepare anything tonight, but I do know there are some meetings coming up. The TAPRC meeting early next week. Mr. Price was previously on that committee, and he told me about that. I know there's other committee meetings that we want to get to right away. Also, later on our agenda, we're going to be talking about admitting a new board member. So we're going to hold off on the committee assignments until we get that new board member. Once we're on there, I can distribute, and if anyone from the public wants to see it as well, that'll be available in the admin office.
And
questions?
can we also discuss the roles of each officer position?
I'm sorry?
The roles of each officer position that are in the policies?
I'm sorry, are you asking to discuss them?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think that's on our agenda right now. We just had the elections for them, but we didn't have that on our agenda to discuss them.
Yeah, so can we discuss, because in our policies, it just says perform duties appropriate to the office of president or perform other duties by the board, basically. And so it's a little miscellaneous for us newer board members.
Oh,
and
sure.
we don't really know
Sure.
what exactly you guys do.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so, or
Well-
it says, perform other duties the board may prescribe. So it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's like-
I think that's a great discussion point, and I think that's very valuable for us on the board, and especially possibly admitting a new board member. Maybe we should put it on the agenda for our next meeting, especially when our new board member's here, and even to go over some of the committees as well, I think would be really important for not only us, but for the community as well, to understand our roles.
Perfect.
But thank you, thank you. Our next item from committee assignments on the agenda is Recognition Board Appreciation Month. I believe we have a couple volunteers here to help Mrs. Foreman with this. Yeah, just hit the button where it turns green. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of our students, staff, administration team, and community, I want to thank our school board members for your dedication and service. Your work often happens behind the scenes, but its impact is felt every day in our classrooms, our programs, and the opportunities we're able to provide our students. You make thoughtful decisions, balance complex responsibilities, and always keep our students at the center of your work. Serving on a school board requires time, courage, and a deep commitment to public education. We are grateful for your leadership, your willingness to listen, and the steady guidance of our district through both challenges and successes. Thank you for believing in our schools, supporting our amazing educators, and advocating for a positive future for all of our students. We truly appreciate all that you do. We do have a few members of the Page Student Council here to present you with a small gift of appreciation. And thank you to the parents for bringing them back in tonight. So thank you.
Could we all come up in front? Because we'd
Yeah,
like
that would
to
be
shake their
great.
hands
Come
and say
on
thank
up.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, hold up, guys. We'll come around.
Pause. They're coming around. So thank you, guys. Let's give our board a round of applause while they're coming up.
Come on down the line. Thank you.
One more round of applause.
Thank you, Mrs. Foreman. Thank you, students, and yes, thank you, parents, for bringing the kids back out tonight. Our next item on the agenda, the superintendent report. Mr. Pouch?
Thank you, Mr. Brock. And we have 3 items on the superintendent's report today. This is not one of them, but students, how awesome is that? Thank you for working with your principal and some of your other staff members and teachers, and coming to our meeting and attending and seeing some of the things that go on behind the scenes and presenting our board with those kind gifts. So thank you for that. I love it when we have students here. It truly makes me smile. And to piggyback on that presentation, I would also like to say thank you to our board. It is January, which, as we just noted, January is Board Appreciation Month, and it truly is a labor of love, and it's my privilege to enter this journey with you as we start another year. So 21 years ago, I started as a young teacher, and first day on the job, board president came up to me and introduced themselves. No idea what a board president was and what a school board even did as a 23-year-old college graduate. So a lot of people aren't aware of the hard work, dedication, tough decisions, and commitment that goes on behind the scenes. I do. I see it every day, and I can say from the bottom of my heart that this board is committed to the success of these wonderful children and staff that are sitting here, so it's my pleasure to work with you. So happy Board Appreciation Month. Second, as a reminder, January 19th, students, no school, you have the day off. However, staff, it's an exciting day of professional learning for us. So parents, keep that in mind, that January 19th, I believe that's a week from this upcoming Monday. Students, you will have the day off, and staff will have a professional development day where we'll continue our PLC work on navigating common assessments and curriculum maps. The last update that I have is just a quick continued update on the FFA barn. We've talked about that a lot lately and had pretty in-depth conversations. We had our latest update meeting on Friday, and right now the tentative schedule is to start building that barn in May, hopefully the start of May. However, there is one project before us, so it may be the end of May, and that is a 3-week build to build the barn, and then the electricians will get in there. So we made it very clear to the vendors and construction workers that we're working with that barn, we should have occupancy by the time school starts in fall. So we are continuing to move forward with that FFA barn project. So subsequent to any questions, that does conclude my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Pouch. Our next item on the agenda is public input. We do have 2 public input sections on our agenda. So if you would not like to speak at this one, we do have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to speak. Is there anyone that would like to speak in our public comment section right now? Sure. Okay, got a couple of them. That's great. Yep. Mark's got a timer here. I got a little bit of a little thing to read here, but let me read that and then we can get going. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Members of the public may address the Board of Education during public comment for up to 3 minutes. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer and are asked to state their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. As a reminder, all comments shall be directed to the board and not to staff or other participants. No participant may speak more than once. Participants may not behave in a manner that is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the meeting. The Board of Education does not respond to public comment. The superintendent will follow up with speakers when appropriate. Please go ahead. If you could, just hit the button right there so the live stream can pick you up. Thank you.
Yep, perfect. Good evening. My name is Michelle Wormy, and I live at 12904 Marsh Road, Shelbyville. And I am here actually today, I guess, continuing the theme of board appreciation. So I figured I'd come up here now versus later. But just wanted to thank you all. I actually am an instructor with the W2W Healthy U program. And I just wanted to come today on behalf of living in your district, as well as being an instructor there, to thank you for your partnership for the past 15 years and recognizing all the work that you do to educate the students in our communities. You are very well appreciated for the work that you do. So I just had a little thank you, and that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I don't know if you want me to pass these out.
Sure, you could just come right down here. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you for speaking.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love your program too, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we were just in the schools this fall.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got
Thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you.
for the community. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else that would like to speak? Sure. Thank you.
Pat Jameson, South Bowens Mills. It's my first public meeting was a TK school board during COVID for the back to school plan. I thought everything was going well. And then a few board members at the time went behind the rest of the board to do what they wanted to do. So being Board Appreciation Month, I appreciate each and every one of you for stepping up during the difficult times. You know, I don't expect a board to be unanimous. I want diversity of opinions. So thank you, each and every one of you for stepping up during the most difficult times during our lifetime. I don't know how our reading and writing is doing. I know back in 2022 or 23, like it was about 50-50. I hope we're doing better. I think we're going in the right direction, and I think we need more skilled trades going into skilled trades, because most people that, you know, they live within 30 miles of where they grew up. Mm-hmm. What does this community need? You know? So just thank you all.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Last time, anyone else like to speak? All right, we do have another item on the agenda that allows you to speak at the end of the meeting. Our next item on the agenda is committee and liaison reporting. As far as I know, we did meet as a board for another item that we'll talk about later here on the agenda, but since our last meeting, I don't believe there's been any other committee meeting at all.
There was a TAPRC meeting, just a vote.
Mark, can you hit your button, please? Thank you, sir.
Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Forget. There was a TAPRC meeting that they just voted basically approving what we already approved.
Yep.
The approval of the 5-year plan, essentially. There is a meeting coming up that I talked to you about, and we can discuss the committees further later. I still show interest in attending or doing the TAPRC representation. However, if somebody else would like to step up, there is a meeting next week that I am unable to attend, so I guess just reach out to me.
And those are quarterly meetings now,
Those are
right, Mark?
quarterly
Yep.
meetings, yes.
Yep.
Yep, and I guess the schedule has been shared, but you guys probably didn't pay attention because you're not on the TAPRC, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I forget the third Wednesday of every month. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but
Yep.
there is a meeting next week if anybody's more than willing to attend. So,
Great.
in my absence.
Yep. Great. Thank you, Mark. Was there any other meeting or committee we need to speak about? Okay, I didn't think so. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that. All right, our next item is the consent grouping. We are looking for a motion to approve the consent grouping, or we can pull an item out of the consent grouping and speak about it separately if we'd like to. Okay, sure, Katie?
I would like to pull out the retainer contracts, please,
I'm sorry, the what contracts?
Retainer
Retainer
contracts.
contracts, okay.
just to discuss, not to,
Yep, we can do that right here, and that'll be just our next item on the agenda, and we'll go after that. So we'll pull that out. Is there anything else? Okay, looking for a motion related to the consent grouping.
I'll make a motion to approve the items of the consent grouping 4A through 4K minus what we are removing.
I'll support.
All right, we got a motion by Winger and support by Ms. Hess. Any discussion on the motion? That is a roll call vote.
Brock?
Yes.
Hess, yes. Winger?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Price?
Yes.
Stanton?
yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, and then right down to our retainer. approval of the retainer contracts. So I believe, Mr. Pouch, could you, or Katie, do you have specific questions you would like to ask here, or just some more insight on it?
So basically 2 points. So I just want to know if this is just to confirm, this isn't a renewal of the contract, we're paying them, correct? Or does it renew the contract?
So we enter into legal services with Truen Law Firm is one of our 2 retainer clients. And Clark Hill is the other one that we use for special education services. And this will be to keep them as our retainer client moving into this 2026 school year. So it does renew the contract essentially, yes, because we do have a year-long retainer contract with them for that fee. Does that answer your question?
I just recall talking about looking at other options. And I know that we increased using Collins and Baja for other things, and I'm just not sure of all the other options. Usually we go out to bid for something, and I just feel like, are there other, I just kind of am wondering if there are other options, or can we look at this collectively and look at other options? That's what I'm asking. So could we table this till next month and look at other options? I guess is ultimately what I'm asking, so that we can all look at what's available.
Yes, we certainly could. And if I recall, and Mark, correct me, so in 2023, I did a great deal of research on this. I had a board member that asked the same question, and I have it, I could pull up, if Mark talks here for 30 seconds, I could pull it up and share it with you. It's 3 years old, but facilitated the very same conversation with a board. There's 3 or 4 legal firms that represent well over 600 schools in the state. Truen, Collins and Blaha, Miller Canfield, and Miller Johnson, Clark Hill's in there too. So those companies represent all the school districts throughout the state. Now, districts our size, you're going to have multiple legal firms that you deal with. For example, Clark Hill, we use them primarily for special education. Truen, we use for everything else. And it's important to note that Truen has over 29 lawyers in their office. We have a lawyer for construction. We have a lawyer for student discipline. We have a lawyer for personnel negotiations. We have a policy lawyer, on and on. So, to answer your question, Katie, at the direction of the board, I can do whatever you want, but this is where I would lean on Mark. Typically, that is a January to December. They run on a calendar year contract, and I'm guessing we're sitting on the bill already. And this is normally something that, kind of the fall you would want to look into so you don't have a lapse of service. So I can work out those fine details if we need to, as far as when the contract ends and when it starts, if we paid it, if we haven't. So yes, we certainly can do that if you would like to. The difference is again, I don't have it right in front of me, but I could easily get it. Some don't have a retainer and they charge you per hour regardless. One had $1,500 retainer. Truen, you have a $2,500 retainer. Every 6-minute call is free. So there are times I time that and I make sure I'm hanging up at 5:59. We've been on the phone with Truen 3 times in the past 5 days and have another meeting tomorrow.
Speed talk.
So, yes. So regardless of who we go with, it's essential that as your professional advisor, we have a legal firm that has multiple lawyers that specialize in a variety of topics. I could call Phil Clark from Truen right now and say, hey, talk to me about the student discipline issue. He's gonna say, I'm your construction lawyer. I don't know anything about student discipline. We could call Ian Koffler, our finance. So that's the important thing to know about Truen is the service that you get. We have so many different areas legally that we are embedded into. 1 or 2 people can't be the expert of that. So that ends up being a bonus that you get out of that $2,500 plus monthly updates from their newsletters and whatnot. So I'm happy to take direction from the board. I probably have a lot of that information that I could easily have Erica call and update the prices. Collins and Blaha, for example, they're straight up an hourly fee. They don't have a retainer. So let's say we call Truen and maybe we weren't very satisfied with their advice or we're questioning it, or we want to get a second opinion, then we would call Collins and Blaha. They would just charge us for that hourly rate. So what I'm getting at is, most importantly, is we designate a retaining lawyer that has expertise with multiple lawyers in education, whomever you want that to be. And I'm happy to bring the board whatever they would like.
So that raises a question. By the way, thank you for all that information. I think it was fantastic. As someone more seasoned on the board now, I did not understand all that. I understood, I knew some of it. I appreciate the additional information. So the retainer is only $2,500 right now, right, that we're paying? And then that doesn't mean that we're not going to, might be less, okay. Sure, sure. But it's not restricting us from finding counsel elsewhere as well, so, okay. Well, I think Rob's given us a lot of information there. If willing to entertain a motion, I think we have two options here. We can approve this and move forward, and then see it as something in the future to get more information on if we need to, or have a motion to table for later. But Mark, did you have
I just
something?
have one question,
Yeah.
I guess, Rob, in your experience, is it common for school districts to change frequently or every other year to spice it up, I guess? I don't know how to.
So please understand, I have no skin in the game.
Yeah.
I have no commitment or no bias towards any legal firm. I speak from 5 years' experience as a superintendent and 8 years of experience as a principal and another 5 years' experience as an assistant principal. And no disrespect to any other legal firm, but there is a reason Truen represents the majority of the districts in the state, and that is because they have offices in East Lansing, Novi, West Michigan, as of 3 years ago, 29 lawyers, and they specialize in every bit of our organizational needs. So if I were to do a random, good or bad, if I were to do a random poll of most districts, I've been part of conversations like this, it's very difficult for districts to even track how long they've been using their legal service team for, because they've been using them so long. So no, it's not uncommon to switch your retainer client. I mean, we are at the end of the day, we're a $50 million business with 500 employees, and we have to have a retainer on client that, or on call, that I can pick up the phone, or Mark, John, Megan, whoever it is, I pick up the phone and I get an answer now, and my question is answered now. I don't live in a world where, well, they're in court till 5 o'clock. Well, I have situation A, B, C, and D, and I need advice now. So that's the importance of it, and that is what you get with Truen. So to answer your question, getting a little windy, it is not common to change retainer clients. It is common, like we have, to have multiple other legal firms that you reach out to in the event you want a second opinion.
What about continuity for ongoing issues? If we change somebody and we have an issue we've been working on for a long time, that would definitely be an impact, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I could share numerous examples where Truen calls me, and not necessarily here, just in my 5 years as superintendent, or they send you stuff and, hey, 29 years ago we had this real estate filing and now it's time to do A, B, C, and D. And nobody in district even was around back then. Same thing with school finance. School finance, as we know, is very complicated, and Ian Koffler is as good as you're going to get with school finance. So when it comes to bonding and going through PQA apps and submitting stuff with the state and the treasurer's office, they pull up that history that it's no doubt about it beneficial when you're going through that. So yes, that historical knowledge is very important. Again, if you wanted to switch, I'm sure another legal team would charge you to find that historical knowledge. But I don't, and I know, and again, I have no alliance to any legal firm. All I can tell you is when I call, they answer, and I get 6 minutes free.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
But we don't know if another firm has that same option.
So I can confidently state data from 3 years ago that I'm looking at, and confidently state this was 3 years ago, 2023, so things may have changed a little bit. But at that time, I researched Truon, Collins and Blaha, Clark Hill, and Miller Johnson, Miller Canfield. Those are what we, at the time, we deemed as your top tier. Those are really, I have it right here. At that time, they had over 600 schools in the state, and they had over 40 years between them representing all of those firms' districts. So then you got down to a couple other legal services that didn't necessarily provide everything that a school needed. You know, you went from 29 lawyers in one firm to now you get to the bottom, you're down to 11, 4, and so forth. So at that time, they were the only one that offered 6 minutes for free. You had Clark Hill had a $1,000 retainer. Miller Cantfield was customizable based on district needs. Collins and Blaha doesn't have a retainer. That's just a straight up, you call them, they charge you. Again, I haven't looked at this in 3 years. Yeah, they were the only one that offers the retainer at that time with the 6-minute free call and the legal monthly newsletter with important updates that's going on. Doesn't mean that hasn't changed now.
Is there a reason why you wanted to change to Collins and Baja for the evaluations? Did we used to use Troon for that? Or who did we use for that?
Oh, I think I can take this.
Okay.
So, when Rob first came on and he was selected as our superintendent, he spoke with Dave and I, and in his contract, he wanted to use, instead of there's really 2 tools to evaluate a superintendent, the MASB tool or the Collins and Blaha tool. Okay. And that's the one that he preferred. Dave and I looked at it at the time, and with the contract negotiation, I mean, we didn't see one way or another. It's just a tool to help you walk through evaluating the superintendent and having communication.
So do you like Collins and Baja?
So let's make sure we separate. So Collins and Blaha has an evaluation tool. Truon doesn't have one. Collins and Blaha heard a lot of concerns about the school advanced MASB tool. So they put together some research teams, they developed a tool. And as Derek said, they're really only the other folks to offer the tool. So they were a legal team, they were able to orchestrate and make that tool. So I want to separate that from legal services, because that's a tool. Now, they do offer legal services. I would say I've used Collins and Blaha for legal advice maybe 5% of the time, because in a lot of cases, reality is a lot of cases in my world, things are black and white. You just need a legal team to guide you.
5% of the time since you've been here, or?
Just in general, as being a superintendent,
Yeah.
I haven't had to make a call to Collins and Blaha since I've been here. I truly use them because they charge an hour, so I make sure I'm going to get my money's worth, and there just hasn't been a situation where we've had to reach out to them. But yes, when we have reached out to them in the past, I've been very happy with them. That Collins and Blaha has done a great deal of work statewide, particularly at the ISDs. They spearhead a lot of initiatives. So yes, I'm very happy with them, but I don't have an over-alarming abundance of need to call them a lot either.
Gotcha.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, do they have different kinds of lawyers like you described? They have unique niches, if you will?
Yes, okay, Collins and Blaha, as of 2023, had 22 lawyers, so they were less than Truon, and their team as a whole specialized in litigation, as all lawyers are going to. General school law, which is FERPA, State Aid Act, Revised School Code, Board of Ed governance, constitutional law. They specialize in employment labor relations, which is your collective bargaining and whatnot, board counsel for policy and FOIA, board meetings, et cetera, and then finance and operations. So yes, they have a few less lawyers. Again, that could have grown, could have shrunk, but they have multiple lawyers that tend to everything in schools as well. And lawyer base tends to be regional as well. And if you go over to that Macomb, Oakland area, they're the leading charge, big districts. You know, I shouldn't say districts because that wouldn't be fair, but they do very well and stay very busy over in that area. And they haven't branched out to West Michigan because they frankly haven't needed to. But in the world of superintendents, your network is across the state. You know about them. So yes, everything about them is good as well. good also. You're just gonna pay more money. At the end of
Well,
the day.
as of 23, right?
Yeah.
As of, in '23, they were about 300 an hour. So,
So if you had a 15-minute phone call, they're gonna charge you for an hour of the $300 time.
If you don't do a retainer fee, if you don't do a contract with them.
3 years ago, they did not offer retainer clients. Again, they could now. I'm not prepared to have an in-depth conversation, but I certainly could. It wouldn't take long to update this. They may offer that by now, but they were just straight up hourly rate.
So what do you guys think?
I believe we need a motion.
Yep, I think we need a motion to either approve this or to move on to something else. But
I'll make a motion to approve True Law Firm for a retainer contract. I don't feel like I want to have any gaps in our legal coverage. I do like the conversation, and I think going into next year, maybe some research heading into this decision throughout the year could give us a way to pivot from where we're at if we see value in a different direction.
So maybe in the summer when we have more time or something?
Yeah, so I motion that we approve that True Law Firm is under our retainer contract.
Ty, can you say the full motion there? I don't know
Is
if
there a
you,
full
if you're on there.
motion? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
Here, you know what, let me, I got it, I'll motion it, or are you good?
The district continue I make a motion that the district continue the retainer contracts with firms True Law Firm and Clark Hill PLC for general school matters, contracts, student discipline, and special education matters.
Support.
All right, we got a support by Mr. Winger, a second by Mr. Price. Any discussion on the motion? I believe that's still part of roll call because it is part of consent grouping that we pulled out.
All right. Stanton,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Hilton,
Yes.
Wanger,
Yes.
Hess, yes, and Brock.
Yes. All right, next item on our agenda, the board items for information and discussion, the district athletic trainer. Mr. Pouch, do you have this, or is it Mr. Mark?
This is me.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. So Thornapple Kellogg Schools has utilized athletic training services for many years, well before the time of current athletic director Brian Hammer. Over time, the specific service agency that we have used has changed, but the district has consistently maintained athletic training services for many years. Currently, TK Schools contracts with Corewell Health for our athletic training services. We are in our last year of a 3-year contract. Corewell Health has proposed a new 3-year agreement with the following annual costs. This also is in the packet. Year 1, which would be next school year, so that would be the 26-27 school year, for $44,994. Year 2, $46,794. And year 3, $48,666. These annual increases are consistent with the structure of our current agreement that we have as far as the raises. This proposed service represents and will give us a 1.0 full-time equivalent, 1 FTE, which we currently have now, athletic trainer based on 40 hours a week, with an overtime rate of $50 an hour if additional coverage is needed. I have found out that we very rarely, can count on one hand, use additional hours. The athletic director works directly with the athletic trainer to set the schedule based on events and practices that we have going on in the district. Given the size of the district, the number of the athletic programs that we offer, and the volume of practices and events, administration continues to recommend maintaining athletic training services as it's an important component of student safety. From a fiscal financial perspective, the contract service represents a significant cost savings compared to hiring an athletic trainer on our own. The general Michigan state average for a full-time athletic trainer is approximately $58,000 annually, not including benefits. At this time, administration is seeking board discussion and feedback. If there are questions or additional information is requested, I will report back to the board at the February meeting with the goal of bringing this forward for approval at the February personnel report. So this was one thing as it hit my desk. I felt obligated to bring to the board just as a measure of full transparency. Not sure when it was brought last, but from my end, it's a full-time staff member that we're just outsourcing for employment, and it should be on a personnel report when it's approved. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
What is the cost difference between hiring, total out of curiosity, an athletic trainer versus corporal health trainer?
So Rob just said $58,000
The
is the
difference?
average? No, I'm sorry. 58,000 is just for the person's salary if we,
Right.
the average. The first year contract, 26, 27, is rounded up 45,000.
Okay.
So-
That's 45,000 is. that's
Straight,
flat
four-
rate.
four- yeah.
58,000 is just base
Is
salary. Then you
just
have
wages,
Gotcha. Okay,
not,
that's huge
benefits
help.
and
Yep.
fringes on top of that,
Yep.
which are gonna be another 20%,
you very likely could be. Yep.
Higher, you
30%,
Yeah.
40%.
Jeez. Get the money guy down here.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
28, 29% just for retirement.
I was close.
Just for
We're
retirement.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
We're right on the tip.
6.5
Sure. Yeah,
plus health.
That paints a good picture. Thanks.
yeah, yeah.
28.7.
And it looks like the termination is either party may terminate this agreement at any time with or without cause at any time, so it's kind of,
If we no longer see the need for it, then, yeah.
Good deal.
Any questions for Rob?
Is this a specific person or just whenever we need somebody?
So right now, it's a specific person, and that's how it has been. We just went through a changeover late summer, early fall, where we had a new person. We don't have a lot of say necessarily in who it is, because we're outsourcing it, so they'll find the trainer and they'll assign them. Obviously, if we have a concern or issue with somebody, they would then address that or find us somebody new if there was a personnel matter. But yeah, it is a consistent person. It's not a model of we got Tommy on Monday, we have Susie on Tuesday, and we don't know who we're getting on Wednesday. Right now, it's always the same person.
and they usually come during games or before games to do wraps and whatever's needed.
Yes, whatever Brian deems, he and his team look at the schedule, and whatever they deem is needed
For
that
that
week.
straight rate, just like they come for everything.
Correct, 40 hours, and Brian is cognizant of that and schedules them mainly to be at games more so than practices, particularly this time of year, when we have multiple events going on every night, basically. So yeah, that schedule's worked out with Brian, and, you know, I don't want to say this too loud, and I told Brian not to say it too loud. There might be instances of, you know, working more than 40 hours a week and not charging us the $50 an hour, and I told him, well, if they work 40 hours a week, more than that per the contract, tell them to bill us. So, we're definitely getting our money's worth is what I'm hearing.
Yep, yep. Any other questions? Thank you, Rob. Our next item on the agenda is Capturing Kids' Hearts Professional Development.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was gonna say another discussion item.
Sorry, did not
You're
mean to
good. No,
cut you
you're
off,
good.
Mr.
You're
President. So several years ago, Thornapple Kellogg Schools participated in district-wide professional development called Capturing Kids' Hearts. You may have heard of that, but maybe not quite sure what it is. You know, since that time, just due to administrative turnover and new staff coming in, there hasn't been a sustainability plan of getting our new staff up to speed with that training, and also keeping our current staff in the loop with that training as well with refreshers. So as part of our strategic planning process and feedback gathered from staff and community members, a recurring theme has come about, and that's the importance of consistent expectations, strong relationships, and positive school culture across all of our buildings. This feedback has been reinforced. This feedback has reinforced the need to reestablish a district-wide approach to relationship building based practices and ensure all of our staff, keyword all, are trained using a common framework. For those that don't know, Capturing Kids' Heart is a research-based professional development program focused on building relational capacity, strengthening school culture, and improving student engagement. The core philosophy centers on the idea that students learn best in environments where they feel safe, respected, and connected with the adults in the building. The training provides staff with practical, immediately applicable strategies to foster trust, collaboration, shared ownership of expectations. Key components include relationship building practices, collaborative social contracts, and a consistent approach to communication and classroom culture that can be applied not only in the classrooms, but also in hallways, offices, buses, and extracurricular activities. To address this identified need that our folks have noted to us, Megan Wonders, Curriculum Director, has been working with Capturing Kids' Hearts to bring the organization on site for 2 days of district-wide training in August, where all of our staff will be trained. And when I say all, I mean all of our staff, not just instructional staff. We will receive the same training, the same language, helping us create consistency across all of our buildings. The total cost for this program is $20,400, which, thanks to Megan, got this significantly reduced from the $240,000 that it was originally at. So thank you to Megan for your work on that. And it's scheduled to take place our first 2 days back in August at the start of the year. So administration believes this training aligns directly with our strategic plan goals that I'm going to update you on here in a minute, related to school climate, staff support, and student well-being. Per policy, superintendent does not need formal approval to engage in this professional development activity, as it's not over the bid threshold. Yet, I still believe it's a measure of good faith, full transparency to share with the board and offer the board a chance for discussion, as this is a large chunk of money that we'll be spending. If there are any questions or requests for additional information, I will bring those back to the board. Otherwise, we will move forward with signing this contract.
Thank you, Rob. Does anyone have any questions right now?
How many staff are there?
How many total staff do we have, Rob, that would be in?
Just under 500 right now.
I wanted to thank Megan for that legwork. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think
So it's like $40 per staff member. It's really not that
Wow, that's
expensive.
amazing.
Yeah. Or 40 and some change,
Yep.
sorry, I don't want to be exact, don't quote me on
I think it's money well spent,
Absolutely.
to have the district aligned under a common cause and, great training, for everyone that's involved in our kids' lives every single day. So, thank
think
you to
with
the
our
team,
current
thank you to Ms. Wonders.
Building structure as well, that also
Yep.
brings a lot of continuity to the
Yep,
process.
that's fantastic. Thank you for presenting it to us, Rob,
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
and the team.
Yeah.
All right, our next item on the board, items for information discussion, strategic plan process monitoring update.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. This is an area that I'm very passionate about, and I think it's super important, the work that we do as administration and board. So I could talk an hour and a half about this easily, but I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version. I believe in the sprinkle, splash, flood model, where we sprinkle a little information and then splash it out there and then flood you with it. So today is just a little sprinkle that, my commitment to this board was to listen and learn for 6 months. Talk to folks, get in our buildings, get at events, and just get a feel for what's going on, and then present the board with, here's a plan moving forward based on our people's voices. So, with that tonight, I want to briefly outline, it's in the packet underneath the strategic planning update. It's also up on the board. It's still in draft form, might need a little tweaking, but it's January. I needed to get this in the board's hands because we're starting to plan for next year and closing out this year. So I just want to provide a brief outline where our strategic planning work will be focused as we move forward. Over the past several months, we gathered feedback from staff and parents, and that input will guide the priorities ahead. Bottom line is you spoke and we listened. Everything I'm going to say is from our stakeholder feedback in common themes. So you spoke, we listened, and we're excited to move forward. First, under Goal 1, academics and programs. Again, this is surface level. We will spend great time in the future breaking down what this looks like, what my team thinks we need moving forward in collaboration with our staff at the building level. We will focus on strengthening instruction to better meet the needs of all learners. This will include expanding our multi-tiered intervention system, multi-tiered system of support, which is intervention, fancy word for that, expanding that, making it systematic and unifying all, increasing hands-on learning opportunities. That came up frequently. Technology's good. Hands-on learning is still good too. So we're going to increase hands-on learning opportunities. Support both struggling and advanced learners. The advanced learner piece came up numerous times. What are we doing across all of our buildings systematically? And continuing to grow our CTE program while also clarifying, making it very clear, everybody knows our college credit pathways. We have multiple pathways to earn credit. So beefing that up and clarifying it so parents and kids all know we have CTE options and we have these college credit options as well. So those are things we'll be focusing on. Again, more to come, but 30,000-foot helicopter view, that summarizes Goal 1. Moving into Goal 2, learning environment and culture. We will work to create consistent, welcoming, supportive environments across all of our building. This is one spot where capturing kids' hearts fits in. Our focus will include improving behavior expectations systematically, strengthening bullying reporting and support systems, evaluating classroom spaces, and reducing classroom disruptions. Again, this is all feedback from our stakeholders. Our third goal for communication and community engagement, we will prioritize proactive, clear, and consistent communication. This will include streamlining district messaging, improving family access to information, enhancing our website, and strengthening family engagement. Again, you spoke, we listened. In the area of finance, we will focus on aligning resource with district priorities and building trust through transparency. School finance is complicated. We're going to do our best to simplify it for our folks. This will include investing in our staff. That's very important to the board. That's very important to us as an administrative team, is that we continue to invest in our staff, provide meaningful professional learning, improve budget communications that our stakeholders can understand where our monies are going, and expanding resources that support CTE opportunities. Finally, under operations, we will focus on strengthening systems that support daily operations and long-term planning. This includes reviewing traffic flow and what options we may have. There's several different routes to go. We can't build a new road, but we do have some control over some things. So how do we look at reviewing the traffic flow? We need to, based on feedback, explore childcare options in our district, engage in long-term facility planning, and consider what 21st century learning looks like through flexible learning opportunities, ultimately choice. Learning looks a lot different than it did when we were in school. So this will mean a living document, and I will continue to provide the board with regular updates as we move forward. Tonight's goal, as I said, is just a sprinkle to get this in front of you, to know that here is where our team is working. We'll be planning with these things in mind as we move into the 26-27 school year, and we'll continue to have conversations on this at upcoming board meetings. So happy to answer any questions, but again, this was just, I wanted to get this out November, December. We didn't get it out as quickly as we'd like, so it was important to me to get it out in January as we start the year.
Not to be critical, but I think we're missing one arrow that's pointing operations to the academics back up, because really we drop the kids off at school through the operations, and then it continues the cycle.
It's draft form. He said draft form.
Noted.
I've got a question that might seem kind of minimal, but, so I remember years back, we had childcare at the elementary schools, and then it changed over to YMCA, and I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like there was a huge decline in parents using the service after that. Is that something we can look into?
We absolutely are looking into it.
Oh,
I don't
awesome.
know
So
the
you're aware.
history of was at the elementaries versus YMCA. I know the history that we had it a couple years ago, and for whatever reason, no longer offer it, but our people are saying that that's a service, that we have this beautiful facility. How do we look to get back in the business of childcare while keeping staffing in mind, keeping regulations, all those things in mind? So we'll turn over every stone with it and see where it takes us. I mean, maybe we look back at the YMCA. I don't know anything about their childcare. Maybe we look at doing it in-house, or we look at other service agencies too. So that's what we'll be exploring.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, board. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Mark, for the assist there on the presentation. Great job. All right, we're moving on to our next section of the agenda, the board items for action. The first item, 2026 board meeting schedule. Mr. Pouch, did you have a rundown on this, or is it, we're just gonna leave it, hey, it's presented there as is?
So I don't have anything in depth other than what's in there, noting that we did consider the fair. We looked up the fair date, and I believe this avoids that week. So the fair is not a concern. Other than that, it's second Tuesday or second Monday of the month. The only thing I would bring up that I've heard at times, and it's full board, it's your board meeting. I've been in tune to some other meeting conflicts in the community that maybe are at 7. So I don't know if the board wants to have a discussion, bumping it up to 6. Not that we're always done by 7 anyways, but sometimes we will be, pending what's going on. So something for the board consider. Many boards go at 6. We do committee meetings. Folks are available at 6. So that would be the only thing on top of what's there that has been brought to my attention, that there's some other community-based meetings at 7 that maybe bumping it up to 6 helps with that. But that's your call.
What
Is
would
that
happen to
something
the finance if we did that? The committee for finance, it usually meets an hour before. Would we just have a separate time for that?
All options are open. Question was, what will we do with our finance committee meetings? All options are open. It doesn't have to be before the board meeting. It could be on a separate day, could be in the morning. Ultimately, that would be in collaboration with the board president and that committee as far as when that time works. From my team standpoint, tell us the time, we'll be there.
Is that something you make a motion on?
No, it's just the committee meetings are whenever they're scheduled.
Gotcha.
So, I know some of the other committees, we just meet, I think, for the policy
No,
committee.
no, I'm saying as far as changing it, the time to 6.
Oh, changing the time to 6, yeah. I think we would just put that in the motion, if that's something we wanted to do as a collective.
I hadn't considered it, but I personally think it's a great idea to allow people in the community to be able to come to both meetings and still not interfere with the schedule.
Sure, sure.
Was the
Any other
question- Sorry
discussion?
to interrupt. Was the question to move all meetings up 1 hour?
Just the meetings on this schedule right here, because that's the only
Yeah,
ones that
so
are on
July
here.
through December.
But it would be to move them to 6, yeah. If that's something we all decide as a
Done a
collective.
little earlier.
So are we saying this opposed to, because this will be the second time I've asked, I asked last January we were flexible with FFA, and I was asking last January. Basically, there are other, like, township meetings, the Freeport meeting.
Those are at 7 though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So instead of changing the dates and when people have been relying on the certain day per month, you change the time. And that way you can go to both still.
Possibly. But yeah, I mean, that would be, we could see how that worked for a year.
Mr. Pouch, is there a better day of the month that would work better for the admin team? Is there a preference there?
Because it does impact other people.
Because, because it does, as far as you guys getting us the information and such, is there a better date that works for the team?
So I happily work for the board. and I will attend a board meeting whenever you want me to be at a board meeting. That is my job. I will make it work. However, selfishly, from our office standpoint, Mondays are not the ideal day. You're coming off from a weekend. Sometimes board members may not have time to look at the packet till the weekend. And, you know, we operate on this board with a no surprise rule. We have some norms of Friday by the end of the day, so 11:59 PM. We try our best to get those questions to me, so then I can get answers to the board. People have lives, kids, jobs. It doesn't always work. So Mondays tend to be a tough day, but obviously we make it work and we do a great job with it. Mondays seem to be the day throughout the county that a lot of county folks have theirs for whatever reason. That doesn't mean anything, but they do. So the sweet spot from my perspective is a Wednesday meeting where now you have your Monday deadline to get the board packet out by Friday. Now you have a Monday deadline for questions, and that gives my team 48 hours to get that to you, likely by Tuesday, for the meeting for Wednesday. So that's what I've always thought. I've seen board meetings and been part of them on about every day of the week, but Fridays, and that seems to be just from a flow of work schedules that works well. Again, please note, I'm not complaining one single bit about our Monday meetings. I'm fine with Monday meetings. But you asked, so I felt fair to answer the question as
No,
well.
if we're gonna make a change, then we wanna make sure, A, it works best for the team. Like, we're a governance team together, the admin, the board, what works best for the team. And if we're considering a change, then we should take in all factors. But, yeah.
So
Other questions?
the only thing that might come up for Wednesday is out here, Wednesday's a really big night for youth group.
Yep.
So I can see that being a hindrance for parents and some board members possibly too. So, I mean, maybe like a Tuesday or Thursday, is that
Thursday would give you enough time.
enough time?
Yeah.
I make Mondays work, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can definitely make it work. I'll make Sunday work if you need to. Doesn't matter, we'll make it work, but
I like that idea.
sometimes that
honestly.
can
Gives
smooth some board
time.
operations too of questions that may come in.
Sure.
We can help facilitate and answer those. You know, we do our best right now, but like today, we had meetings all day. I checked email, there's 68 emails.
Sure.
And vetted through them as quickly as possible as I could. So again, we'll make anything work, but yes, later in the week does allow for just a more smooth transition into preparing for the meeting.
Sure. Board, how are we feeling? Let's have an open discussion, let's see what.
I prefer, if I'm gonna choose, I would prefer Tuesday.
I'm good
Just,
with
I'm looking
Tuesday
at,
too.
personally,
Yeah.
fall sports.
I'm okay with that. Just no
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Thursdays can be kind
Thursdays
of
can be
heavy
complicated
for
with fall
sports.
Yeah, I could understand that.
So,
Especially
and-
high school.
And,
Thursdays.
Wednesdays, same with youth group and middle school sports. There's some sports. happening
Tuesday would be
Wednesday.
great. That would at least give us an extra day and also open up so that people can go to community meetings and still come to our meetings.
So I'm hearing Tuesday by a couple board members. Brenda, you haven't?
I like Monday, but I would appreciate starting at 6. It would be
That'd be awesome.
a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
And then you all, there's not such a gap between the end of your workday and the start of this meeting too.
Shortens your nap in the end.
All right,
Motion to
so
change.
I'm hearing Tuesday, and I'm hearing a 6 PM kickoff.
Yeah.
Okay, any other?
That only affects these meetings where.
It's only gonna affect these meetings, so it's gonna be July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay?
So December, how does that affect, like, Christmas break or?
I'm
The
sorry?
December one was the only one that I was concerned about, to affect Christmas break.
I don't think
It
Christmas
won't?
break happens
Will
till
it?
much
I don't know
later.
the schedule.
Well, no, we still go to school through
Yeah.
the second week, so we're
Okay.
just moving it to Tuesday.
different day.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
15th instead of 14th.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion, however, our motion says, meeting schedule as presented. Erica, do you feel it's just appropriate that we can just say in our motion that we're gonna move, them? Yes, thank you.
I motion to move the regular board meetings to the second Tuesday of each month at 6 PM.
Second.
We got a motion by Ms. Stanton and a second by Mr. Winger. Any discussion on the motion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you, board. Okay, our next item here is the selection of board candidates in question. So for the general public, we have a board opening right now, and it was highly publicized, I would say. I don't know if I've been through this once with my history on the board, and I mean, everywhere I looked, I feel like I tripped over our post and stuff. So this credit to the admin team and some members on the board also getting that out publicly. Our deadline was this morning at 8 AM for applications. We had 7 applicants apply, and at this meeting here, we're going to discuss how many candidates we would like to interview for our opening, and then a selection of those candidates. We have assigned them a letter just to protect their privacy in the community if they are not selected by the board here. But then we also have some questions, and we have a process that I would like to talk about with the board and make sure we have full agreement before we move forward. So I think the first item to discuss, and this, I think there's gonna be some work here before we get to the motion on this, is how many applicants do we want to interview for our open position? Again, we have 7. Any discussion on the number that we should interview?
I think stating up front, having 7 very well qualified candidates, even though we may reduce the number pending board decision.
Yep.
It was an awesome outlook for this position.
Yep.
Good representation.
Yeah, I
Thank you for saying
definitely
that.
appreciate everybody that applied. Just like any other applicant process, I feel like, you know, it's, and I've interviewed, so I kind of know the
Yep.
nerve wracking and embarrassment that you can go through having them open. Rob knows, probably.
Yeah.
So, 3, 4, 5, I don't know,
Yeah.
narrowing down.
With the applicants that we have and considering the time frame and such, I feel personally I would like to hear from 4 applicants. I don't know if anyone else has any other opinion on that.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. Mark, Katie, Tyler, you okay with 4? I don't wanna.
I had 5, but I can definitely trim it down one more.
Okay, okay.
I think 4 is a good number. I generally would feel like interviewing all of them because I think being in the position that I was in, interviewing 2 years ago for an open position, it was great experience, even though I obviously didn't get the job. At that time, it was great experience and great knowledge that I learned through the process. However, 7 candidates is a lot.
Yep. Yep.
You guys did 6 candidates last time around.
Yep.
And it was a very long night. I was the last candidate, and it was a long night.
Yep,
So-
absolutely. Okay, so it sounds like we have an agreement of 4 candidates that we're going to interview. And I know the instruction before coming to the meeting tonight, and Erica, thank you for all the work that you did. She sent us everyone's credentials and everything that our candidates submitted to be selected. So I think we'll just go around, and if you could say the candidates that you've chosen. And I did ask for rankings just in case we did decide to limit the pool. If we could go around and take that, and then we can do a tally, and then we can I'll announce who we're going to interview.
Are we saying their numbers or their name?
No, I would prefer saying the letters
Okay.
of
Oh, the
what we
letter?
have, so that way we can go forward. And again, thank you to everyone who applied. I just want to make sure that it's kept private. I feel like if they're not chosen, I feel like they can have the right of being private.
I agree.
So. Is there anyone that would like to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I have E and B.
You just have two?
Yep.
Okay. All right, any
I
next?
would choose G, E, B, and C. Sorry, not in order.
Okay, nope, that's fine.
I
Mark?
would like A, E, B, and F.
Okay. And Ms. Hess?
I'll take A, C, E, and G.
Okay. Ms. Stanton?
I would like E and B.
I'm sorry, E and D?
E and B as in
Oh,
boy.
B is in boy, thank you. All right, and then I have for 4, I have B, C, D, and E. So let me just tally this up real quick.
If you just want to compare, I don't.
Yeah, thank you, Brenda. So,
All set.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So for candidate A, we had 2 votes. Candidate B, we had 5 votes. Candidate C, we had 3 votes. Candidate D, we had 1 vote. Candidate E, we had 6. For F, we had 1, and G, we had 2. So we have 1, 2, we have a top 3 and then a tie for 4.
Sorry, what was A?
A had 2, and then G has 2.
Okay, thank you. I just was writing it down.
Can we go forward with 3 then?
I
Or
mean,
do we still wanna
the
go
other, there's 2 candidates that have 5 and 6, and then there's a candidate that has 3, and then the other 2 have 2 votes.
C has 4, doesn't it?
C is 3.
3.
3.
So that's not a majority vote, if you want to consider that.
Yeah, yeah. 3, I guess, is at least, but that'd be narrowing our pool down to 3. Did we want to narrow it down to 3?
I mean, personally, if the others only have 2 votes, it's a pretty slim.
Sure.
And I think the time's important to give to the people that have the best chance of
Sure.
moving
Yep.
forward.
Yep. Okay. So are we in agreement then to narrow it down to 3?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure we hear everyone. If you have a different opinion, please speak. All right.
Say yes.
I said
Okay.
yes, too.
Okay. So B, C, and E. I'm not sure if anyone has the information there, but
Yes.
with that limiting down, we have our 3 candidates, and we can go ahead and make a motion here, and if we can insert their names into the motion.
I motion that we interview, how do you want me to word that? Do you have to word it to the dates? So.
No,
Okay, so just simply like
you
that.
know what, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I think I might have jumped ahead. I do want to talk about also the questions that we have. Those were attached. So, the thought is if we, the time block, I was thinking, 15 minutes per person. And then we schedule 5 minutes in between, to give a little bit of a, as the candidates come in, and they leave. Just make sure I don't want our final candidate to show up and we're still in the middle of the first interview. I was thinking 15 minutes, but if we're gonna narrow it down to 3, I think that allows for time to maybe be a little bit larger and give them a little bit more time. So what's the feelings of the board here? 15, 20?
20's good.
20? And we have 5 questions, and then there's a opportunity for a closing comment as well. And there's an opening that we're gonna offer as well. So it's really 7, it's kind of 7 questions, a little bit open-ended.
Yeah, I think that fits well.
Fits well?
Yep.
Okay, okay. The one thing too, we spoke about, or I spoke about this and with Rob, is we feel like it's a great opportunity if we just give the candidates the questions 24 hours in advance and let them have it and prepare and
like
make
that.
it just even, and that way it gives them a little bit of respect to collect their thoughts versus being on the spot here. So, does anyone have any opinions on that?
No, I would have appreciated that when I interviewed.
Sure.
Guaranteed.
I'm sure Rob would have appreciated it too 6 months ago.
I
Many months
second
ago.
that. Tyler.
Yeah, okay. So 24 hours in advance, we'll give the questions that we have here, and there's some open-ended ones. And then we'll do 20 minutes per candidate, and give some 5-minute, and we'll build in some 5-minute breaks that way we can notify the candidates of their time frame. But, okay, sorry. Now back to the motion.
Okay, I motion that the Board of Education interview Matthew Brown, Sarah
Siswerda.
thank you, and James Flickema.
Support.
We got a motion by Ms. Stanton and support by Mr. Winger. Any discussion on the motion?
Just a hard paper copy at the TK Kitchen next time would be really helpful. It'd be nice to see that advertised.
All right. I believe, Brenda, that's not a roll call, right? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, thank you, board. To the next item on our agenda, the high school course proposal, History of Sports. Mr. Pausch, do you have this?
I do. If you recall from our December meeting, Curriculum Director Megan Wonders presented a brief slideshow and presentation on this elective course, the history of sports. There was brief board discussion on that. It was a discussion item at the time, and we told the board we would be bringing it back in January for formal approval. So since then, I did not have any directives from the board to come back and answer any questions, and my team has not received any questions on that course proposal since then. So unless there's any questions now, I have no further information to add.
Board, any questions?
I think my kid's actually excited about it.
All right, awesome. And this was for review in the office, correct? Did we have anyone stop by and review it, Ms. Wonders? Okay, thank you. All right, board, looking for a motion regarding the high school course proposal for history of sports.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the course history through sports to be implemented in the 2026-2027 school year.
I'll second.
We got a motion by Mr. Winger and support by Ms. Hilton. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed?
May we take a short recess to go to the restroom?
I guess we can. That motion passes. Sure, well, let's take a quick, how many minutes do you need?
2,
Like 5, 10.
2.
2 minutes? All right, let's take a 3-minute recess real quick, please.
I know it takes a lot of time, but the people putting themselves out there usually, so, I almost applied for it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I think
And
it's,
that, the thing I thought was weird was you gave letters.
that's more to protect them than anything, honestly, and I've seen it like pretty much across the board. I've gone to a ton of board meetings, and I wondered that at first too. But when you talk to the people that actually did it and didn't make it, because only one person's gonna make it, it saves them some, especially if they're applying from another school.
As far as the public perception goes, like, I don't know who the other three people are, unless I.
I mean, it's public,
send-
yeah.
Yeah, but I have to go ask, before,
Sure.
instead of just being like, so I've been here before, when, it was just, this is who it is.
Sure.
And, I believe you, Tyler, and Katie have all been in that process,
Yeah.
and helping out. So it was just a little different, like,
Yeah,
it's not a
I
big
get
deal, like, I trust you guys a lot more now than I used to.
Yeah, I get it though. I appreciate it.
And we all know who it.
Right. All three. That is cool. Super powerful.
I don't think they have, probably don't have those anymore, just too many people licking it, Tyler. I got a hot dog, I hope that's right.
Oh, what did I get? Ooh, I got ketchup or hot sauce.
You got ketchup?
Spicy.
Ooh, spicy. Wait, what are you talking about?
I love it.
All right, board.
Oh,
Thank you. We got two more motions here to bring this home. Our next item from the board items for action is board policy second reading. The policy committee did review these policies. We had some discussion last meeting for this, so we have, this is again, the second reading, and once we approve these, they will go into our official update. So I think Mr. Pouch had some discussion last time, and we've had an opportunity now over a month to review them. Is there any questions or thoughts on these policies? If there's no question.
with regards to policies 1422 and 3122 and
That's the one I said.
4122? Yeah. So basically, I'd like us to come up with an agreement for these policies where everybody on the board has a say and not just consider right now, but something that works for board members like in the future. Our stakeholders did not elect 7 people to this governing body so that one person on the board could make the decision. With regards to these policies, the president or the residing chair is the only one on the board that makes the decision for the original complaint. If policies go to the personnel committee or the policy committee, any committee, there's usually 3 board members. And then thereafter, it still has to come to the board for, the final say. So I don't see why, one person on the board, I'd like to keep that system consistent. For example, if a staff member files a complaint where the decision makers are the super and the board president, they should have to then file an appeal to the complaint with those, they should not have to file it with the same people who had made the original decision. That just doesn't make sense. Clearly, they had already made that decision, so it should go to someone else. Especially since there's already a board member making that original decision. So the appeal would then go to the board. Yeah, so it just doesn't make sense to me. and it's not consistent. If you look at policy 2266, it reads, "The decision maker for the appeal should not be the same person as the decision maker that reached the original determination." So that makes sense to me, because why would someone appeal to the same people?
Yep.
So,
So is there a specific spot in the policy, Katie, that you're speaking about that we could all look at? Or you're just saying just overall in the policy, having a procedure so that if someone makes a complaint there and there's a determination, appeal doesn't go to the same person?
so on page 16, again, in all those documents, in 1422 and 3122 and 4122, I would like to motion that the appeal goes to the board.
Is that the one that's top? I'll look through it, but you said page 16. Just want to make sure.
Yes, it's where it's the,
'Cause I think there was one that was strictly for administration, and that one, I would
correct.
agree, but I'm not sure I would agree on the others.
But in general, it's going to the same person still. So even if someone from the admin team were to go and file a complaint with the superintendent and the board president, they would then appeal to the superintendent and the board president? Why would you appeal to the
So-
same people who made the original decision?
So you're saying, when you read the policy, you're reading that if there's a complaint against someone and there's a decision made and there's an appeal, the same person then, the person who heard the original complaint then has to also hear the.
No,
hear
she's
the
saying
appeal?
that's what it already says.
I'm saying that's what doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I don't.
I mean,
see
I
that.
didn't get that from my interpretation of reading it. Rob, do you have more insight that you could share on this?
That jumped out. I didn't see that.
Thank you, President Brock. So I believe we would benefit from me pointing out a few things on this policy similar to what we did in the policy committee meeting. So with that, to the community members that are here, I think it's clear to note that the policy we're talking about is 1422, 3122, 4122, which is non-discrimination, equal employment opportunity, and anti-harassment. It's merging 6 other policies, existing policies, into one. So, Board, I would draw your attention to page 7. If you recall, you should still have the copy where you have my left-handed chicken scratch down at the bottom. So I kind of want to take 5 minutes walking through multiple pages, just pieces of it, not every bit, and that'll help paint the picture of the full policy. So first, on page 7, you'll notice at the top, you'll see in green where it says Assistant Superintendent. That is the district compliance officer. We are required to have a district compliance officer, and that is the assistant superintendent. On page 7 at the top, that's who it is now. If you go down 2 paragraphs, you will see the board designates the superintendent as the person who is ultimately responsible. That's my world. I have people designated to do things, but at the end of the day, the superintendent is responsible for compliance. On page 7 still, if you go down to, it'd be the 3rd to last paragraph, the last X on the left, it says, the district compliance officers shall report directly to the superintendent, except when the superintendent is a party to a complaint. Under such circumstances, the compliance officer shall report directly to the board president until, the other option is legal counsel, which the board president is going to go to legal counsel at that time anyways, until the matter in which the superintendent it's wrapped up. So that's page 7. I would then draw your attention, go forward to page 10. Towards the bottom, it says basic requirements. I think it's important here. I'll read this a couple times if I have to. The compliance officer may serve simultaneously as the investigator and/or the decision maker. Right now, we've labeled the compliance officer as the assistant superintendent. The assistant superintendent can serve as the investigator and/or the decision maker. If the compliance officer does not intend to serve as the investigator or the decision maker in a specific case, the compliance officer can designate one or more administrators who are appropriately trained. We have several central office folks that are appropriately trained. In circumstances when the compliance officer and trained administrators do not have the capacity to serve or are prevented due to a conflict of interest, bias, or partiality, or other reasons that impair the compliance officer and other trained administrators from serving as an investigator or decision maker in a specific case, the compliance officer shall consult with and get approval of the board president and secure one or more independent third parties to serve as the investigator and/or decision maker.
So yeah, so right there, you could choose, the options are board or board president.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna mark that, and we can come back to that. We'll keep going with the flow to make sense of the big picture policy here. So again, that's only in a situation where superintendent and compliance officer and everybody else in the organization that has been trained cannot complete the investigation.
Gotcha.
Okay, moving forward to page 15. So now on page 15 at the top, I'll read it a couple times if I have to, and I can go slow because it gets wordy. The superintendent, remember, the district compliance officer, assistant superintendent, is the investigator and the decision maker and/or has appointed HR, curriculum, building principal, whoever it is. Superintendent up to this point, in 99.9% of the situations, is not involved in this, other than making sure compliance is in effect. So, the superintendent shall serve as the appeal decision maker, provided the superintendent has not been otherwise involved in the grievance procedure. That means did not serve as the investigator, decision maker, or informal resolution facilitator.
It does have a step 2 right there.
And is properly trained. If the superintendent is not eligible to serve as the appeal decision maker, the compliance officer will designate an appeal decision maker who will be a person who did not conduct the investigation and render the determination and is appropriately trained. So the appeal is going to someone who was not the investigator or the decision maker. That's the way this policy reads right there. I'm happy to read that again if the board would like me to. You flip to the next page, 16. The appeal decision maker's decision is final. In most cases, it's going to be the superintendent's decision. If there's a conflict of interest, there's a different decision maker that the compliance officer has designated that will make that decision. And please remember, in any situation like this, you are seeking legal guidance the entire step of the way. So that, I wanted to just draw attention to those to help provide clarity, walk through that policy. That's not something that we did last time. If there's anything you want me to further explain or try to give examples to, I'm happy to, but hopefully maybe that takes this policy and puts it in applicable terms for us.
It gives clarity for sure. Thank you, Rob. Katie, and so now that we've all read that, and I think I heard at one point where you said there was a crossed out where it says board and it just says board president. Am I hearing you right in saying you would rather that not say board president and you would rather it say board as a whole?
Yes, or on page 16, board. I just would like.
Instead of it saying board president?
Collective agreement with the board among 7 people.
Gotcha.
Not just one person.
Yep.
How does that, why would they have changed it from board to board president? Like, does it change the
Well,
dynamic of,
I think it's just an option, right? It's just an option that of whichever one was selected.
Yes, there are options, it
Yeah.
looked like it.
Yeah.
So in page 10, you know, I don't want to give situations, but there could be situations where an immediate call to legal services needs to happen now. Now, right now. And superintendent can't, team can't, whatever it is. If this goes to the full board, you're gonna have at least an 18-hour delay in that call, I would suggest. Because you have to have a special meeting, and then you need to get a quorum there. Where best practice is, board president gets that ball rolling, getting in touch with legal counsel, and then you schedule your special meeting.
Okay.
The board is going to be involved regardless, because
That's
the
what I
board
wanted to know.
president can't take any action on anything that's going on anyways. That's just getting
getting the ball
the ball
action.
rolling with an investigator, which is going to be your legal counsel.
So the board president would initiate the call and get a team working and then call a special meeting, and then the board president and whoever would then update the board.
Yeah, so
I
thank you
see
for
that
that
situation.
Yeah, that's
clarification, so
awesome. Yeah.
I'm fine with that staying with board president.
Gotcha.
But on page 16, I see what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying, however, I still think I'm going with my original motion, where on page 16, it would go from the board's decision shall be final.
Instead of it saying the appeal decision shall be final?
Correct.
Well, that would mean that every appeal that would come through, the board would have to
Yeah,
hear
just like
about.
just like we see suspensions, I mean, that's the final say, just like we see, you know, this is an appeal, so, yes.
I think that would cause a delay in the process, but that's my opinion. You clearly have a different one.
But it allows things to settle and people to think about things and people to look at the big picture and not to rush decisions, things like that. And it allows the board to have governance. Yeah, that's why people elected us, so.
Well, I'm willing to entertain a motion from anyone on the board, based on the discussion. If we want, we can make the motion, or we can do a poll to see if, others on the board, your opinions on the change or the recommended change? I personally, I understand the policy. I think it's fine how it is. Katie has her opinion, and that's fine. Or we can move forward with the motion that we have.
I understand what Katie's saying.
Yeah.
And I agree with what she's saying in this incident with this particular page, because I do feel like people have elected us for that duty, and I think we need to stand by that one. So I would support it.
Okay. Is there any other opinions on it? All right, go ahead, and if anyone would like to make a motion, we can make a motion, and
I thought I already did motion and then she supported. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't believe so. You would have to actually call out
Like a formal motion.
the formal motion, and then you would have to make the selection of the change, noting the change in the motion.
Okay, so bear with me for a moment, because I just put everything away. So do I have to say like the page?
It's page 16.
So page 16 of 1422. Uno momento. 3122, 4122, where it
Was it changing
says,
all of them?
where it says it should say, the board's decision shall be final. Is that okay? Or does that need more?
Yep, yep, and I think you just gotta finish the rest of the motion there.
Are you saying this for all of those?
Yes.
Okay. I'm okay with it for the administration one.
So I
Okay,
think,
should I do them separate then?
I think the motion would be something of, I motion to approve the policies volume, that, how it's written, with the exception of policy, and list the policies, those to be changed to page 16, the board's decision.
Okay. Okay, back up. Okay, so I rescind that motion. Okay, so let's just do one at a time because that's just seems easier. So so for policy, I motion for policy 1422 to, wait, what did you say to say?
You could say the motion of how it's written, and then you say, with exception of policy 1422, 4122, and 3122, to change page 16,
Yeah, I thought that's what I just did.
and the page 16 to, but you have to approve the other motion, the other policies as well. So in the motion, it has to say you approve the other policies with the exception of the 3 policies that you're addressing, and then I think you say the page number and the change that you want to have.
So, a motion to approve, yeah, I don't know, I'm stuck. It's late. I motion to approve everything except for page 16 of the policies, 1422, 3122, and 4122. But I actually wanted to go back and do just one, so that's not right. So,
Should we table it for this one? Or no?
yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna say it right. So, can we table it for next month? 1422 and 3122 and 4122? Can we table it for next month?
If that would, like, you can make that motion and the board can vote on it, yes.
Okay, so I would like to table 1422 and 3122 and 4122 for next month, when we can get the correct verbiage down.
Seconded.
So we have a motion by Ms. Stanton and support by Ms. Hilton. Any discussion on the motion? All right, I think that we can go ahead and do a roll call vote there.
No, it's,
Let's, all right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 2 ayes. All those opposed? Aye.
Aye.
I,
All right, the motion has failed. Looking for a motion related to the policies. I'll make a motion to approve the policies, volume 40.1 and 40.1 and 40.1, non-discrimination for second reading.
Support.
We have a motion by Brock, support by Winger. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Our next item, board items for action. A little bit of a celebration here for the board. We had a superintendent evaluation meeting with Mr. Pouch. And I say it's a celebration because Mr. Pouch has been with us for 6 months. The overall rating is effective. With the state of Michigan, you cannot get any higher than effective with the current landscape that we have and direction that we have from the state. So speaking, I hope on behalf of the board, we are pleased that Mr. Pouch achieved this rating, and we are thankful for the work that he has done in our district in the first 6 months, and excited for the hopefully 15 years he's going to commit to us to continue being around. Erica, you get that in writing for me, please. Thank you. So that is my rendition of it. Is any board member like to make any other comments?
I don't think you could have hit it out of the park
Yeah.
better in your first 6 months. You have hit the ground running, and you're establishing good direction and culture within our schools.
Yes.
Yeah, I've personally very much appreciated your professionalism, your ethics, and just the hard work. I mean, you've really put in the work already, and it shows, it shines. So very, very appreciative.
With a caveat of transparency.
Yes, love that.
Yeah.
I know in 6 months, it's hard to have proof, I guess, or, all the good stuff, but honestly, I think you walk through the halls and you hear it through
Yeah.
the staff and the students. It's been an amazing 6 months, so we're all, as a board, excited for the next, as Derek said, 15 years, so.
All right, board, looking for a motion regarding the superintendent evaluation.
I motion that the Board of Education approve the superintendent, Rob Pouch's final overall evaluation rating as effective in his 2025 and 26 performance evaluation.
I support.
All right, a race there for support. We got a motion by Mr. Price, support by Ms. Hilton. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Brenda, is that a roll call one?
Yes.
All right, well, roll call vote, please.
Wenger,
Yes.
Hess, yes. Brock,
Yes.
Stanton,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Hilton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Here is our second opportunity for public input. Was there anyone that would like to make a statement? Anyone like to make a statement? Oh, Mr. Jameson.
Pat Jameson, South Bowens Mills. I'm a little disappointed in the whole process of the new board member. I've sat here during COVID, and the process is different now. I don't like the lettering of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're gonna protect the people that are putting themselves out there. Personally, I would like to know each person that put their name out there. Especially the three that you guys did not accept. I think you should interview all 7. I don't care how long you're here. I've been up here where people, oh, well, that takes too long. I don't give a shit. You should interview everybody, regardless of their qualifications. Because if all you guys, what are the qualifications to get on the ballot? Are your qualifications for your 4 more or less than that? So you just said, we're gonna, you want to interview this person for whatever reason. Just listen to everybody. That's all I ask. I almost put in for this job. I wouldn't have got any votes. That tells me you don't really care what everybody has to say, as long as they say what you want or you like them. Just because they might not have the educational qualifications. As a parent in this district, that's all it should take. My qualifications, 1999 alternative ed. Each one of you, I guarantee you, has a higher education. Does that make you better than me? Does that make your opinion more than mine? I think you should listen to everybody. I don't care how long you're here for. How much time do I have? 5 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, now to, oh, Mr. Lansma. Oh, I had another one. All right, Mr. Lansma.
Yeah, Dave Lansma, Payne Lake Road. Just want to congratulate Superintendent Pouch on your outstanding evaluation, and thank you on behalf of the school district. Great leadership, appreciate it deeply, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Another one?
Hi, everyone. I'm a pretty familiar face around these parts. So I just wanted to, I'm Catherine Key Griswold. I just wanted to comment on the strategic plan. I loved that you included advanced learners and also struggling learners. As someone who's worked really on both sides of that bell curve, I think there's a lot of room for improvement for our district in those specific areas, and I loved seeing that show up in that strategic plan. I used to be the program director of the Down Syndrome Association back in the day, so I have a huge passion for individuals with special needs. And then also my daughter's extremely gifted, and so personal passion. I loved seeing that on that strategic report. And then also wanted to mention, loved seeing childcare being looked at. I was here a few years ago advocating against the decision to outsource childcare over to the YMCA. Huge passion of mine, especially looking at cost at that time for my family. It was such a big challenge. And just wanted to encourage you guys, when you're looking at childcare, some of the feedback I'm getting back is that a lot of families, instead of putting their child on childcare, they're busing their kids. So looking at maybe some of those stats of, you know, if childcare is dropped off, are we busing more kids around the district and paying for it in ways that we might not see? Because I'm hearing from a lot of families that I don't do childcare anymore because I'm putting them on the bus and that's my childcare. And I'd much rather have my kid in a structured program, but I can't afford it, so I'm going to put them on the bus instead. So just wanted to encourage you to look into maybe some of that data. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm just hearing from a few people, but I'd encourage you to look at what does this picture say. And also just that strategic plan was incredible. Thank you for taking the public's comments into consideration. It looks great.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? All right.
Huh? What? Oh, hey. I am. I'm almost out of it. All right. Hello, board. I'm Jackie Schneider, fifth grade teacher at Page, resident of the village. I live on Viewpoint Ave. Or yes, Viewpoint Drive, sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you very much to the board for your support and investment in capturing kids' hearts. This is something that I've been using since I was first trained in it years ago. I use it every single day in my classroom. It was hands down probably one of the best PDs I've ever been to. And I'm super excited that we get to have a couple days as a refresher in August, especially with some of the new staff that we have in my building and across the district. I think that will be really beneficial to them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Eric Shaper, resident of Middleville. I understand, I believe the spirit of what Katie was saying. I'm a member of many boards and committees and commissions, and I think it very important that one person, one elected official from a board shouldn't have more gravity in their vote than other members of the board. I think there's a reason that everyone was elected, and that was to hear their voices heard, and I think it's important that the board have the final say. You know, generally committees make a recommendation to a full board, and the full board votes on decisions. And gosh, I'm really nervous up here. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. I just think that it's important that everybody on this board has the same gravity in their vote. And that's it.
All right. Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? All right. Our next item on our agenda, board comments. Any comments from the board?
Yes. So just so everybody's aware, we've been doing, board policy updates since August. And so the first one we did was 39, volume 39. And I went on to board docs, and those are not all on board docs. They're not all live yet. So if there are any questions regarding the policies, you're gonna wanna email the school to make sure that's the updated policy. Just in case there's a conflict there. And then also, January 9th was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and they courageously serve every day. Sometimes they help out with our schools. And so I'd like to thank the local law enforcement, and beyond law enforcement. So, thank you.
Any other comments? I'll say this is our first meeting since Mr. Smith has resigned his position, 31 years. It's been a long time. Miss him already, but I'm excited for a new board member and that selection process that'll take place soon. But any other comments for the good of the order? All right, meeting adjourned, 8:56.